that's what I took that from that whole situation, right? Mm-hmm. I took that, okay, honestly, I did a live first, right? I don't know if you see, did you see my live?
It depends. I saw a lot.
Yeah, I did a live at the time where before I even went out there, I said, look, man, what we doing before I come out there? Because if I come out there on anger type time, we gonna do anger type time stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm not coming out there playing around. I know me, you know what I'm saying? We gonna be doing the police smashing cars, we gonna be doing all that.
Absolutely.
Now, if we not doing that, I'm coming with my camera and I'm gonna be peaceful and just record what we got going on, which is what I ended up.
But who did you ask that question to?
To Facebook.
All right, so who? So
nobody. I mean,
see, because if it's everybody's job, it's nobody's job. I don't deal in spaces where there ain't no leader, no master. I needed somebody to kick it with. Even when I was on the streets, if I was on a block and some of the block workers was violating something, I'm not going to beef with the block workers. I want to know who's running, who's the boss. Because when I get done with them, I got to see the boss anyway. Let's just skip over them and get straight to it, right? I always want to know who's in charge. And if nobody's in charge, I'm probably not going to go there. But here's the catch. So, back to where we were going. So my thing is, when I look up as a principal, although personally I wouldn't do it, but because I know there's so many young people, so many families, that this might be their first time getting involved in civic engagement. If this thing goes horribly wrong, many of those people will, well, first of all, they could get hurt in the third, right? The worst. But even not so bad, many of them will go back home and say, that one time I tried to get involved, everything went bad. I'm never doing it again. And I know that if we're going to make anything of this community, people have to get involved. So I would rather if they would get involved in a different way. But if they're getting involved now, I want to go there to do everything within my power to make sure that they have a positive experience, make sure their voice is heard, make sure they are supported. But I'm probably not going to be the one that's going to try to be all in front of the camera, do whatever. So with that ideology and that philosophy, I went out to the first one.
Okay.
Now, when I went out to the first one, remember, if you recall, before anybody went out there was a young lady out there, a young white girl. I know her name. I think highly of her, but I can't.
Maria.
Yes. Yeah. She was standing in front of Cracker Barrel with the signs by herself. And then it was like 2 that joined on and 3, 4 didn't get that real win. We were all sending her. We would come by, drop off stuff for those of us who couldn't be out there. That was the vibe for the first few days. Then it came into a point where our good brother Daydon was kind of, his group was stepping in and they were taking kind of leadership of some of that stuff. Because I have a relationship with him, I just went to their first one and I said, look, whatever y'all got, I'm here to support. I ain't here to be in the front. That means that if y'all need waters, we will have the guys bring the waters. If y'all need meeting space afterwards to organize your stuff, I ordered everybody pizza that day. Said, look, whatever y'all need to support, I'm in the background, but whatever it is, I got y'all, right? But I did have a conversation with the person who I felt was in charge. Yeah. So me and Daydon had a conversation, said, look, hey, this is how I feel. Only thing I ask is that women and children are being invited out. You're in charge, control the space. Let's look at, you know what I mean? Because like you said, if we know it's going to be turn up, don't
think they not let it with that type
Oh, no, not at all. No, he did a phenomenal job.
But what you're saying, though, like you said, when it's ruled by anger, you're going to have that.
So now this is my perspective on it. So when we had that conversation, absolutely, bro, I feel you, and we seeing eye to eye, right? Yeah. So that first day, he did everything perfect. I mean, he stood up and said, look, because there's a thing called marshalling that you do, where you have to have the signs where people understand, like, we're getting out of hand. When y'all see me do this, that means pipe down, da-da-da-da-da. So we're still giving it the WWE joint, but we're in control of ourselves. He gave all the marshalling cues, did everything he was supposed to do, did it perfect. So now, if we recall, I went back to Facebook Live the next day and I just shouted out everything that went down the day before. It was like, look, I need y'all to know that what's going on out there in them streets is proper, is being led the right way. People came out, nobody was harmed, they got their voice heard. Come out, support this work, right? But everything was shut off around the nation. So what happened was there was this young person that was here in Greenville, from here, but their families in Atlanta, they had moved to Atlanta, but he was back home visiting, something like that. But they had shut Atlanta down. I know this young guy's mom.
Word.
So it was like, And I know my way around Atlanta. They were struggling with how to get them back because everything was blocked off. They had a National Guard in Atlanta because of the situation that took place at the. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna get the young. I'm gonna jump in the car, get the young dude home because I know my way around the neighborhoods in the A. We'll make sure he gets there. I take off and I leave. But before I leave, I do this big announcement. Everything is straight, y'all. Come down and support. And then the next day is when it erupted. Now here's where I felt. I was watching the whole thing kind of through different people's live streams, and I was literally like, how you flip the channel to see who's showing the fight or something like that. I was flipping through people that I knew was down there, Facebook page, to see who was going live to try to stay up to date with what was going on. So to a certain degree and up to a certain point, I watched it all unfold through different people's streams. I saw when some of my young bros, whose name I'll leave out, started to originally get out of hand. I saw our brother Daydon try to pipe it down, calm it down, and I saw there was a weird exchange where today felt like you piping us down. They didn't understand the vibe. Because remember, the thing about all calls is that even though we had that conversation from the beginning with the group that was there in the beginning, people just kept coming, joining on. They weren't a part of the... Yeah, so now they coming thinking...
It was civilized. Second day, you have a complete...
So more people coming, they turning up a different way because they coming with a different energy. And it happened exactly how it would happen. I'm calling people on the phone, but the people that's turning up, they were not strangers. Yeah. I knew them. Many of them I consider my young nephews, my baby cuz, my family, absolutely. So I'm seeing them. So I'm jumping on the phone, and I call the first one that was acting up. I'm like, yo, boo-boo, yo, go home. Yeah. He's like, yo, my bad, I know they don't want me down here, man. I'm good. And matter of fact, I know he's telling me the truth because I can hear the silence around his presence. Because if he was still in the crowd, you would have heard all this rah-rah. I know he was telling me the truth because I hear the quietness. He was like, yeah, I'm leaving. They don't want me down here. They're trying to pipe me down. I'm gone. But then it's another one acting up. I'm calling him. I know these people personally. I can get them on the phone and we got a level of respect. Not that I'm sunning them, but I'm telling them, look, that ain't what it is. And they like, no problem. I'm gone. The problem was I'm away. And the thing is, I'm thinking is there ain't a lot of people I know that know these young guys that can just go get them because I don't care how wild a person is. They respect who they respect. If you got a person's respect, you can walk up on them in the middle of almost anything and be like, yo, chill. And they'll be like, I'm good. Sure. But I just felt there wasn't enough people that knew these young guys enough to just go down there and be like, y'all, come on, y'all. So then I'm getting mad at just this whole situation because I'm like, why aren't there enough brothers who actually know these young guys and are in the, are in the mud with them. So that's when I got on the phone and started calling like just somebody. I started calling people to say, yo, get downtown to look after these young guys. Because for me, I'm never about piping our young folks down. But I am going to protect them. I am going to support them. And I'm going to make sure that they can do things in a manner that they can stand on. And they can know that they're nowhere alone. Gotcha. They shouldn't have been down there alone. Yeah, for sure. You know what I mean? So, because remember what I said, wherever my young people involved, right, wrong, indifferent, I'm showing up.